Hi, I'm Ivy, and I'm 16. This is my family. We are modern nomads. We lived in a mobile home and traveled all over America. My parents didn't have full-time jobs, so money had always been tight. Dad was an artist, and Mom sold her signature cupcakes. I also made bracelets and amulets for sale. Neither I nor my siblings went to school. Our grandma taught us instead. She used to work as a teacher. My parents found such a lifestyle romantic, and my younger siblings didn't realize life could be any different. We were happy, but it wasn't meant to last. At a certain point in my life, I started to feel discontent. I was growing up, and I wanted to have a separate room, a small shelter of my own. But living in our tiny van, I could only dream of personal space. Mom, your dough is all over my bracelet now. Hush, baby. No, it's my turn to play with it. No, it's mine. Ivy, sweetie, did you say something? It's nothing, Mom. Forget it. I was starting to wonder if I could keep up living like that. Was it time to choose my own path? Besides, the older I got, the more I noticed that I even looked different from my family. It made me wonder if I'd been adopted. But my parents just laughed when I asked them that. Ivy, we're poor people without a home. Do you honestly think someone would let us adopt a child? But Grandma acted like she knew some sort of secret. Dear, what about, that whole thing 17 years ago in California? Mom, okay, I won't say anything. That was suspicious. I tried to ask Grandmother what she meant when we were alone, but she expertly dodged the question. Sweetheart, I don't remember what I ate for breakfast. Do you really expect me to remember what happened 17 years ago? Soon, fate brought us back to California. We were planning to go to an annual music festival in Los Angeles and sell our crafts there. But before we could reach the city, Dad lost control of the car and we fell into a ditch. No one got hurt except Dad, who hurt his leg. He said that our brake hose had broken and it would be dangerous to keep driving. We didn't have money for a tow truck and none of the passing cars stopped to help. Let me go to the city, sell some bracelets, buy a new brake hose, and come back to you. This is not up for discussion. Do you have a better idea? Dad is limping, Grandma's too old, and you need to stay with the baby. I can handle it. Mom and Dad were worried, but they had to agree to my plan. I was putting bracelets in my backpack when Grandma came up to me and wrote an address on my hand. Go there if you run into trouble. Tell them your mother's name and mention the Wings of Freedom Music Festival 17 years ago. They will definitely help you then. Who will help me? Mom and Dad came up to us then, and Grandma pretended to be asleep. I decided to deal with that later and set out on my way. Walking under the scorching sun was exhausting, and I decided to hitchhike to the city. However, when a suspicious guy stopped his car next to me, I refused to get into it. Don't you realize how lucky you are? I'm William Moon, a famous blogger. Don't you recognize me? Nope. No one in my family uses social media. Are you barbarians? William drove off with a huff. Almost immediately after that, another car stopped next to me, and soon, a married couple dropped me off at a gas station just outside the city limits. Thank you so much. Please accept these bracelets. They'll bring you good luck. How charming. No, did you see that? They could have just refused to take them if they hated them that much. I started rummaging through the trash to get my bracelets back. And then I suddenly noticed that William was filming me. He'd apparently stopped at that gas station too. Thanks for the content, weirdo. I didn't understand why he did that. When I got to Los Angeles, I found a busy street and started selling my bracelets there. Then 2 girls stopped next to me. It's that dirty homeless girl. She's so pathetic. What are you looking at?
Hello, subscribers. Look at that poor thing searching for food in the trash. I'm gonna help her. Thank you. You're amazing.
That bastard William made a fake video. He pretended to be a noble knight and made me look homeless. After calming down a bit, I kept selling bracelets. By the evening, I'd only managed to earn a couple of dollars. That wasn't enough for a new brake hose. My stomach was already serenading me, but worst of all, the police noticed me. What are you selling? Show me. I knew that if they took me to a police station, my parents would be in a world of trouble. So I ran like a bat out of hell. Ugh! Why couldn't anything go according to plan? It was time for plan B. I decided to ask for help at the address Grandma had given me. Unfortunately, the words on my hand had smudged a bit, especially the street name. It took a while, but I figured it out. An hour later, I found the right house and I knocked on the door. Good evening. Does the name Cassandra Knightley mean anything to you? No. Sorry, who are you? Apparently, they didn't know my mom, but their faces instantly changed when I mentioned the festival that had taken place 17 years ago. It can't be. Have we finally found our daughter? Oh, I've been waiting for this for so long. Daughter? What are you talking about? Before I knew it, Mr. and Mrs. White dragged me inside the house and told me everything. It's been so many years, but I still remember everything like it happened yesterday. We were young parents, and we took our newborn daughter, Rebecca, to that festival. Our baby disappeared without a trace. The police never found her, but we didn't give up hope, and we kept looking for you. I couldn't believe it was really happening. Could Mr. and Mrs. White be my real parents? What about Mom and Dad? Had they taken me in after that festival? Did that mean they kidnapped me? I was only 16. It all happened 17 years ago. On the other hand, Mom and Dad could have lied about my real age. Those thoughts were driving me crazy. Now it was finally clear why I was so different from the rest of the family. After having a hearty dinner, I told them I had been raised by modern nomads. By the way, their van broke down in the middle of the highway. That's why I'm here. We will go out there and sort everything out tomorrow. They showed me a nursery. There was a picture of a baby in it. Could it be me? Good night, sweetheart. We're so happy we found you. In the morning, we bought a new brake hose and drove to the van. My parents' eyes bugged out when they found out Mr. and Mrs. White thought I was their missing daughter. We're very sorry about your daughter, but Ivy was born 9 months after that festival. See this picture from the hospital? It was taken right after Ivy was born. How did she get our address then? Grandma had to admit that she'd given it to me. However, I had come to the wrong address after all. The words had smudged and I'd got the streets mixed up, which led to that horrible misunderstanding. I felt sorry for them, but at that moment, I had other things to worry about. Who lives at the right address then? Okay, you have the right to know. Your mother used to date a rich man called Mr. Fletcher before we met. We were going to get married, but Fletcher was a cruel and jealous man. He was terribly controlling and wanted to leave Mom at a nursing home right before our wedding. 17 years ago, your grandmother, Fletcher, and I came to that festival. That's where I met a traveling artist. That was your father. We fell in love at first sight. Fletcher got mad and tried to drag me out of there, but come with me. I'll show you the world. I see the whole world in your eyes. I threw my engagement ring at Fletcher and ran away. That was the day we started to travel. Soon you were born, Ivy, but we don't know who your real father is. And we don't want to find out. You're our daughter. We don't want anything from Fletcher. My head was spinning. I was sure Mr. Fletcher was my real father, and I decided to meet him. That was probably the reason fate had brought me to California. After everyone had fallen asleep, I snuck out of the van and came to his house. First, he told his security guards to kick me out, but as soon as he heard my mother's name, he agreed to hear me out. Ivy, I'm sure you're my daughter. We look so similar. He let me stay in a huge room for the night. It was like a dream come true. We did a DNA test the next morning, and Mr. Fletcher suggested I stay with him while we waited for the results. When we returned to his house, we saw my parents' van parked next to it. Of course, they knew where to find me. Well, well, well. Look who it is. Cassandra, why don't you leave your pathetic husband and come back to me? I'd rather go bald. Ivy, come with us. You have no idea what this man is capable of. He might be my father. I want to stay with him and figure out what kind of life I'm best suited for. My parents had no choice but to give me some space. They drove their van to a small lot next to a mall, and I stayed with Mr. Fletcher. He brought me to his office and told me that he was a PR manager. I could introduce you to many celebrities and bloggers. And no thanks. I don't know any of them anyway. Not even William Moon? I've been working with him for a year now. He is quite famous. Yeah, I know him. He edited a video of me to make me look homeless. Right, I remember watching that. It got a lot of views. Don't worry, Ivy, we will delete it. William, don't hurt my daughter again. Daughter? Oh, sorry, my bad. I've got an idea. Ivy, Why don't we make you famous? I'm not sure I want that. I don't want to be like this narcissistic moron. Hey! Shut it, William. Ivy, you're a good girl. If you're popular, you could help people. For some reason, that made me think of Mr. and Mrs. White. Would I be able to help them if I became famous? I nodded, and Mr. Fletcher got down to business. It was not difficult for an experienced PR manager to turn me into a celebrity. All he had to do was give me an opportunity to collab with famous bloggers like William. We filmed ourselves dancing a few times, and voila! The next day, I woke up famous. Congrats! Thousands of people subscribe to your channel every minute. By the way, Ivy, I'm sorry about that dumb video, but I can't let my fans lose interest no matter what. The only reason you're apologizing is because you found out who my father is. Instead of making fake videos, you should be helping people. You're in a position to do that. For a while, I enjoyed my new life, but soon Mr. Fletcher showed his true colors. He was rude and controlling and made me film videos all day, every day. All the money I made, he took for himself. I was starting to understand why Mom ran away from him. Soon, he crossed a line. That day, Fletcher, William, and I came to a children's hospital and gave the kids toys on camera. Fletcher even donated a huge amount of money to the hospital. But as soon as we were done filming, he demanded they give all his money back. Give it back and go play with your IV. His greed made my blood boil, and I shouted that I was leaving. Ivy, wait. You're going to lose everything. You've sold your soul for popularity, but I haven't. I became a blogger to help people, and I'm not gonna lie to anyone. That's how my parents raised me. They're the best people in the world. Only then did I realize how much I missed my family. They were weird and maybe even a little crazy, but they taught me what was good and what was evil. I returned to my family and hugged everyone tightly. A couple of minutes later, Mr. Fletcher burst into our van and handed me a sealed envelope with the DNA results. I don't care what it says. I know who my real parents are, and I don't want to have anything to do with you. You're a fool. I'll just ask them to send me the results again. Or did you think I'd just let you go? You're my cash cow. He showed me the video of me rummaging through the trash and laughed. If the child services see this and find out how you live, they will take you and your siblings away to an orphanage. I didn't want to let my family down, so I agreed to go with Mr. Fletcher. Ivy, you don't have to sacrifice yourself. I started this mess, and I'll deal with it. I promise I'll find a way to get back to you. Over the next few days, I filmed new videos just like Fletcher told me to, but I couldn't stop thinking about ways to make him leave us alone. The last person I expected offered me help. Hi, I heard Mr. Greedy Pants became a problem, and I think I have a solution.
Give it back and go play with your IV.
If we publish this video, Mr. Fletcher's reputation will be destroyed. William, it's perfect! But why are you helping me? Maybe it's because your subscribers adore you, and I want to get rid of a competitor. Or maybe it's because I want to use my fame to do something good for once. I will choose to believe it's the latter. We showed the video to Fletcher and demanded he leave me and my family alone and delete that ridiculous video of me rummaging through the trash. The man turned red as a lobster, but agreed to our terms. You're nothing without me. I'm terminating your contracts. Whatever. Look for new puppets. Ivy, wait. I've got the DNA results. Do you really not want to know the truth? Nah. Goodbye. I don't want to film useless content anymore. We need to find a better purpose. I told him about the tragedy of the White family, and William came up with a great idea. He asked the couple for a photo of their baby and used AI to create a picture of what Rebecca could look like as a teenager. Then he asked his subscribers for help. Guys, let me know if you see this girl. We all hope that one day Rebecca will be found and will reunite with her parents. I kept traveling all over the country with my family, but I never stopped being a blogger. Now, I tell my followers about our unusual life, travels, and crafts. We want to buy a bigger van so that everyone can have some personal space. Losing my freedom made me treasure it more than ever. Don't forget to hit that like button and tell me in the comments down below, would you have opened the envelope with the DNA results if you were me?